long to feel it right.
Hello and welcome to my beginner guitar YouTube series. Throughout the series I'll be teaching a variety of different chords that I think are essential for any beginner guitarist starting out. I will also be teaching songs at the end of each video which will only feature chords from that lesson or previous lessons to make sure that you know what you're playing. In this particular video I'll be teaching the D major chord, the A major chord and the E major chord. Thank you for clicking on this video, and I really do that you help find this lesson and all future lessons beneficial. Right, straight into the lesson then. On the guitar, we'll label the strings from the bottom, which is string 6, down to the top, which is string 1. The names for these strings are E, A, D, G, B, and E. However, throughout this series, I'll be labelling them as string 6, string 5, string 4, string 3, string 2, and string 1. Now then, for the D chord, I will be going through this nice and slowly. I want you to put your first finger inside fret 2 on the 3rd string, and I want you to put your second finger inside fret 2 but on the 1st string, and your 3rd finger inside fret 3 on the 2nd string. I want you to put your thumb just over the top so it's touching string 6 and string 5, and altogether you should have a D chord that sounds like that. However, do not worry if it doesn't sound like that, as there are a few mistakes that beginner guitarists do make while first learning these chords. One of these is not gripping tightly enough onto the fretboard. If you're gripping on too loosely, your strings won't ring out and it will sound like that. However, I don't recommend gripping on too tightly, as this may hurt your fingers. Just a nice even amount of pressure to make sure all of the strings that you want to ring out are ringing out. You also want to make sure that it's the tip of your fingers that are touching the frets and not your fingers aren't slanting in any way, muting any other strings. You also want to make sure that your fingers are as close to the metal frets as possible, but you don't want them actually touching the frets. Now onto the A chord. What you want to do, you want to put your first finger inside fret 2 on string 3, 3. You want to put your second finger inside fret 2 on the string above it on string 4, and your 3rd finger on string below on string 2, all in the 2nd fret, and you want your thumb just touching the 6th string to make sure that it's muting, and your A chord should sound like that. However, you will see people playing the A chord like that, and you will see people playing the A chord like that. However, for beginner guitarists like yourselves, I would recommend playing the A like that, as it makes it easier switching between the E chord and the D chord, a technique that I will show you in this video. And for the E chord, you want to put your first finger inside the 1st fret on the 3rd string, 2nd finger on the 5th string inside fret 2, and 3rd finger on the 4th string inside fret 2. You don't mute any strings for this either. Altogether, your E chord should sound like that. Now you've learnt the chords, it's time to learn the best techniques of how to change between them. When I first started playing guitar, I always found it difficult changing between chords. I came across a method of changing between the D, the A and the E, which is very helpful. It's called using an anchor finger, which means that your finger, in this instance your first finger, keeps in contact with the fretboard, whatever chord you're changing between D, A and E. So for example, when playing the D chord, what you want to do is, instead of taking all your fingers off and then worrying where to put them and trying to rush it, maintain contact with your first finger on the fretboard. So when you're tuning from the D, keep your finger on, and then you just have to worry about moving 2 fingers instead of moving all 3 fingers. Position for the A chord, and then when you're going from the A to the E, you keep your finger on, you just slide it up and position your other 2 fingers where you need to do. This also works for the D chord, so as you go from the E, slide your fingers back down to the 2nd fret, position your fingers where it needs to be for the D chord. I would recommend spending around 10 minutes a day maybe, just making sure that that you're strumming between these chords and you're working your best to try and make sure that you can change them. Also, don't stick to one pattern. For example, don't stick to just going to the D, to the A, to the E. You also want to be working, for example, D to E and A to D, all the different possible combinations that you might be playing. I would recommend working on this for about 10 minutes a day, and within a week or so you will start to see improvements. That is the end for today's video. However, I will be posting a video on how to play Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, which I would love for you to check out. Please like and subscribe, and check any other videos that I also have on my channel.
Breathe relief from decrease in self-belief. People long to feel around.
Hello and welcome.